I think I'm saying that we struggle all our lives to answer it. But it's the struggle that is important. That's what helps us to define our place in the universe.
This is Beverly, Dr. Beverly, Dr. Beverly Crusher.
Look where we are. Here, all of us in this moment. So let's do what we spent our entire lives learning to be great at.
And this is Crusher Convo.
Welcome to Crusher Convo, or Crusher the Conversation, one episode at a time. I am super excited to discuss the season 1 finale of Starfleet Academy, Rubincon. I decided to do this live last minute. I usually have been doing these little reactor reviews over these last few weeks. And of course, my Patreon members, my Admiral ones, have been watching my live reaction of me watching it. So if anyone is in the chat, please go ahead and comment. We will discuss about everything that we loved or maybe not loved so much about this episode, and just kind of discuss overall the season. If you couldn't tell, I'm very congested. I have allergies like all week. It's been super fun. And as everyone knows, I've also been dealing with the pinched nerve. So it's been great. So blessed by Admiral Patreon members who have seen me cry, dealing with ice packs, sneezing, like just the whole 9 yards, and they're still here. So thank you so much for joining me and supporting me. So anyways, let's talk about my sponsor, Cherry Tree Incorporated. Use the code CrusherCombo6 to get 6% off of your order. Anything between Borg Cube computers, Raktajino mugs, they have Klingon keyboards. You name it, they have it. Go to mycherrytree.com and also follow on the socials at Cherry Tree Incorporated. I love their mug. I have it. I want to get more colors. They have more colors now. Orange, red, the whole rainbow. Okay, so very excited about that. But we are here to discuss Starfleet Academy, and I am going to start. I'm doing 3 clips, okay? I've been roughly doing about 5 to 8 when I do my little reviews, but I wanted to really discuss this hard 3 here and just kind of go from there.
And you were headed off that planet with her, right? Just the 2 of you. You had your chance. You didn't take it. Why?
They were going to get shot.
Who was going to get shot?
Sam, Darren, Genesis, they were about to get executed. I couldn't just...
Right.
Anybody would have done what I did.
No. I've lived in 2 very different centuries, and I'm telling you, no. Very few people would have turned around. Remember the first day of class when I asked you to tell me who you are? You just told me.
Tig Notaro. Praises to her. I loved Jet Reno in this finale. She was the shining star. She was front and center. She was handling the cadets. And I feel like this has been the buildup all season for this moment. And she even said it right there when she had Caleb in one of, her first classes, and when they met and stuff, she had asked him, "Who are you?" And he couldn't really answer it. But here's the moment where she's like, "This is what I've been trying to teach you this whole time." And gosh, there was just so much wisdom that she was also putting with sarcasm and all this stuff. And even my husband, he saw the episode last night, he was like, she was my favorite, hands down. And I think the way Tig, she's a comedian, okay? She does, like, as anyone, I don't remember her show, but it's like she doesn't know, like, certain celebrities and stuff like that. She's just, doing her thing. But here she is, doing all this technobabble and really showing heart and fun and just absolutely perfect for these cadets. I loved her completely. She was literally the shining star out of this whole entire episode. Loved it. I got a comment. Enjoying stories together. Hello, great scene. Yes, love the scene. Edwin, I believe this is who this is. Any scene that she did, it was really hard for me to choose. a Jet Reno scene. But I wanted to highlight this one just because it did a callback to the beginning of the season. My cousin, hello. She said, happy Friday the 13th. Yes, happy Friday the 13th to you as well. I don't mind Friday the 13th because it celebrates black cats, and I love my kitty, Beverly. So, yes, Edwin. Yeah, I got it right. But yes, it's just this whole season has highlighted a lot of highs and lows, but it really had the heart of Trek. And what a wonderful way to represent that with kids who are trying to figure out who they are, their coming of age story, all of it. And to have these characters like Reno, like Nahla, like Laura, like everyone else that's there to really guide them in the direction. And to even have Holly Hunter, who is the next scene I'm going to be showing here. What a gift to have Holly Hunter and Paul Giamatti, two huge powerhouses to be guiding this new series, this season was just great. And what's great about it is I was worried having someone like Holly Hunter, for instance. She's, Emmy Award winning, Academy Award winning. She's done amazing movies over, I'm a millennial, over my entire generation. And I thought she might outshine these new actors, the Cadets. And a little bit worried about even Paul Giamatti. Again, powerhouse, just amazing actor. They didn't. They were equal with the Cadets. And those actors, those young actors, we're talking about, with Santos and Kareem and like everybody, wonderful. They were toe to toe with them, and they weren't overshadowed by Holly or Paul. And it was just amazing to see. And then even having like Stephen Colbert as the voice, and just having the actors from Discovery on, they were not overshadowed. They were front and center, and they handled it, and they did great. There's a reason why we love Sam. There's a reason why we love Genesis and Caleb in ways, and Darren in ways, and why we love Jaden. Tarima, Oakham, Kyle. Okay, that was my nitpick. Didn't see any Kyle. Didn't see any Oakham. Kind of wish we had one last thing with Kelrick. Nitpick, over with, done. But again, Tig Notaro, amazing, brilliant. I cannot say any more than that. My cousin does say, Kit is rural, absolutely. And she also said Holly Hunter is a classic. I can't say any more than that, because she is. If anyone wants to know my favorite Holly Hunter movie, it's The Piano. And then I think it's going to be the third clip here. I'm a big sucker for classical music, which is why The Piano is one of my favorites. Michael Nyman did the soundtrack, and so I love that aspect. But my favorite scene in this episode happens to be something that has a beautiful score to it. I believe it was Jeff Russo who did the music for Starfleet Academy. Chef's kiss. It's just, my mind was blown with all of that. Oh, my cousin's also favorite is The Piano. This is why we're family. Okay. She loves cats and I'm sure we got more that we love. But anyways, I had to give some love to Tig, and just, for someone who is not a conventional actor and a comedian, and that's why she also worked so well with, Laura Thok, right, with her character. Those were the highlights in those moments. Again, not enough Laura. I did hear that there was some makeup issues happening by the end of the season, so that's why she wasn't really there, so I could understand that. But it's just one of those things where I'm going like, gosh dang it, I wish we saw more. So, trying out this new feature here, guys, where you get to see the chat in. Let's do that one. But anyways, wanted to finish my love for Tig there. So let's head into the second scene that I wanted to highlight.
Like the cold, or hunger, or a broken bone. I want it there when you close your eyes. I want it there when you're laughing, when you're drinking. I want it there when you are grieving. You're 400-something years old now, and for the rest of your life, I want you to close your eyes and see me. That is the only way I get justice. The only way I get to dance on your grave.
No words. Come on. I wanted to highlight this. I wanted to show more. Unfortunately, I could only do 30 seconds. Otherwise, Paramount is going to go after me. Holly cried. I was like, ooh, right in the gut. Right in the gut. Because we know this has been haunting Nahla for years. Okay? And as much as her resigning after the fact of taking away Caleb and then Caleb disappearing, that's not enough. And we knew that. I mean, that's all she could do, I guess, in this aspect. She did try to find him. In Anisha's mind, she was like, you hunted him down like a dog. Anisha's pissed, so clearly she's not thinking straight. Okay. But, this whole thing. And I was kind of mad a little bit because Anisha knows how horrible Newsbraka is, and yet she still gives him what he wants. And it's because she gets played by him so easily because of her emotions, because of her pain. But Nahla wasn't wrong. She's like, you blame me, which she obviously has reasons to, for taking away your son, for you losing your son for the last 16 years. But what about the family of the person you killed, the shuttle pilot? That was a brilliant, sucker punch back, right? It's just those moments where you kind of forget. Like, we knew they killed a shuttle pilot, but we didn't know his story. And that was her way of, kicking Anisha while she was down. Now, of course, Noose is like, well, it was self-defense. Dude, you fucking shot down his shuttle. So the one who's self-defense was Commander Lee, okay? And it just amazes me. And again, this whole brilliant concept here of how a villain is made and why he hated the Federation, and to see that it was all by the false narrative, the assuming. He created this whole hate and this whole view of the Federation all by a misunderstanding, a mistake. His father was the cause of all that, not the Federation. Brilliant. I thought that was such a great twist. Shout out to Chris from Shelf Nerds. He compared Noose to Dol Madrid, okay, from TNG and Chain of Command, which, I love Chain of Command too. I am a huge David Warner fan, and he was all like, it's amazing to have these two villains that are created over childhood trauma. And even with Nahla pointing that out to Noose and being all like, you're just a scared little boy. Exactly what Caleb didn't want to be. He didn't want to be that broken child, that broken home. He even mentioned that. That's what Noose was this entire time. So there's that mirror between the two. Brilliant writing. Brilliant writing. I should have looked. I'm not 100% who actually wrote this episode. I'm going to assume it's going to be like Alex or Gia or whatever, I think it's Gaia. Maybe Kirsten Beyer. But anyways, guys, I love this whole thing, but I really wanted to point out too that when Anisha just blurted out that Nahla was guilty, you could instantly see oh no, what did I do? Because in her heart, she's guilty. But then she knew, she's like, oh, I just sent her to her death because Noose was just going to kill her, right? So again, everything was built up and everything was just a moment that Nahla and Anisha needed. That confrontation, that back and forth. And even at the end, as much as Nahla holds no grudges to Anisha, Anisha's still just because Nala waved as she does, and Anisha's like, hi, but there is somewhat of an understanding. And she knows that Caleb's going to be taken care of. And she knows that he has found his place among everyone. And honestly, Nala was there for Caleb. She did try. There was no hunting him down like a dog. Yes, it sounds bad when it's like, hey, you're going to go to jail or go to the academy. I get that. But again, these let's just say Noose and Anisha, they made the choices that led to their destruction. Okay. Particularly Lisa. She worked with Noose knowing how bad he was, and then it ultimately ended in someone's death. And I'm glad Caleb called her out on it, because as he's hearing this and he knew something was going to happen to Nala, that's why he kind of was putting himself on the line. But he's like, Mom, I know how much that hurt you. So don't try and be like it meant nothing. So I loved that part as well. Edwin says, Starfleet Academy and the writers have been so great all season, creating funhouse mirrors of characters and situations between characters and levels of story, cadets, faculty, and Federation. That is a great, that's perfect right there. Funhouse mirrors. Just knowing that one character over here is similar over here and finding that connection. That's a perfect analogy right there. Absolutely agree. But also, besides the acting and the writing and everything that has been going down, I will say though, I don't want to say it's a nitpick, but I believe that Noose just repeating the same threat of like, you will see me in your nightmares. It's just like, dude, find another line. Like, figure it out. All right. I did like though that Caleb shot it back. He's all like, remember me in your nightmares, right? Because Caleb didn't just hate Nala before he went to the academy. He hated Noose. It wasn't just Nala, right? This third scene. Guys, I'm a sucker for editing. You know I love to do my videos. I love to tell a story that way. And one of my favorites, as much as it's a pain in the ass to make, one of my favorite things to do is to get classical music and do voiceovers and certain editing to just kind of create this little movie. Okay, I've done it twice. Well, I've done it more than that, but there's two particular ones that I did with Beverly and Picard. Took 8 or 9 hours to make, so that's why I don't do it very often. But this whole piece, and it's like a minute and a half long, but I could only do 30 seconds. Sorry, minute and a half long, but I could only do 30 seconds. And the music, here we go.
I feel her. Help me. Adjust course to 018 mark. 018 mark.
I mean, come on. Come on. I've literally have watched that scene probably already 20 times just to listen to the music. It's so beautiful. Jeff Russo did a fabulous job. Again, I'm just guessing here, but I could have sworn it said Jeff Russo, who has done like Star Trek Picard and stuff. But oh my gosh, that was so beautiful. It was perfectly done. And remember, in my last review, I had mentioned that what is Jaden and Tarima's position, right? Because they didn't have a lot to do in the last episode, and then they just not hijacked, but they hitched a ride on the Athena. And I was all like, what is going to be their purpose? Now, Jaden's purpose wasn't as, I don't want to say not important, but not as much of a highlight as Tarima's. But I went, go Jaden, when he had guessed what was wrong with the doctor. He was all like, wait a second. Maybe he's trying to say something and it's coming out all gibberish. Good job, Jaden. Good job. I think I wanted to see a little bit more build up with Jaden becoming a medical officer in the first season. Maybe we might see that more in the second season. I don't know. But because the beginning, the very first episode, it was very much highlighted that it was strange to have a Klingon be in the medical field. So I think I wanted a little bit more of that. Small nitpick, nothing crazy. Okay. But Terima, perfect. A lot of these scenes were callbacks. A lot of them. Okay. Callbacks to previous episodes. And they were just like slowly seeding in to the story. And then all of a sudden, poof, a tree. Right? And this was that moment. Caleb always felt guilty that he got all pissed off when she went in his head the first time. And he always felt guilty because he didn't mind it. It just startled him. And he tried to explain that, but with everything going on, it's kind of hard. But this was a moment where he's like, I trust you. I don't mind you in my head. You're the only one I have the most closeness to. And she even said, she's like, I thought you hated it. And that's literally what she thought. And he's like, no. But he knew, he's all like, I am trusting you and I know you could do it. You're not a monster. You have a great gift. Use it. Right. And even though she was at the, trying to navigate where everyone was, she felt she wasn't doing a good job. But she has these special gifts and this ability, especially being a Beta Z, that she tries to hide. She tries to not use. And he's like, no, use it. That's who you are. Now, when she took off her inhibitor, I was all like, oh, that's the non-invasive. It's not in her neck like the last one, so kudos. But this was such a beautiful scene. And I liked how they were looking at all the people in the back. So, like, Reno was kind of watching. Darren was like, what's going on? Sam was even looking like, what the hell? It was great because they didn't know what she was doing. Then all of a sudden I was like, oh, there, they found her. And hearing the, Anisha screaming at Nahla and that emotion, I'm sure Terima was feeling all of that, but it was so, so, so good. I loved that entire piece right there. And just overall with that whole story of just the, funny little quips from Reno and the little seeds that we're putting into, fake this or do this or, tricks noose or something. Yeah, it was brilliantly done. It was very, very well. Again, I had some nitpicks. I don't know if I would call this the best episode of the whole season, but it was pretty darn close. Okay, so I want to mention that a little bit. But overall, guys, I think we had a lot of guesses and theories of what was going to happen. What I thought was going to happen wasn't really it. I thought Anish was working more with Noose, or she was the big red bow and the whole reason he was able to get the Omega-47. No, didn't happen. But I think Anisha did have some kind of, I don't want to say closeness because that's not what it was, but she did have, some history there with Noose, and I'm sure he used that to his advantage. So, but, Caleb did turn out to be that good Starfleet boy, right? He did choose Starfleet. I've been saying that since the beginning. He has to choose between his mother or Starfleet. I kind of figured this is where I was going to go. I mean, obviously, there's a second season and he's in it. But the way he defended Nahla to his mother was really great to see. And then I loved how Nahla used his knowledge that he learned at the academy to get back at Noose, just asking about the mining, and it was called strontium or something like that, and basically figuring out that it was his father that destroyed their colony and not the Federation. Little fun quip though was when Noose made a joke about the Federation Pledge of Allegiance or something like that, and she was all like, we don't have one, but now that I think about it, she's still thinking like a teacher. Okay, she's still thinking like, oh, maybe we should do that. She's on the brink of probably dying, and she's thinking about what to do next year for the school. But overall, very, very good episode. I really enjoyed the season. You know, like I said, guys, this show really represented the best of Trek. I know it's gotten a lot of hate. Apparently not as much as Discovery, but that's another story. But, you know, it is what it is. Maybe it's not for everybody, and that's great. That's totally fine. You know, not all Trek shows are for everyone, but all Trek is Trek. Okay, so that's just where everyone needs to realize. And yeah, I guess we'll kind of see what is going to happen next season, because, you know, this whole story arc was really about Caleb finding his mom. Now that that's done, what is going to be the next story for next season? Is it going to be more Nahla? I know, I for a fact know that Paul said that he is not in season 2, so we are not having new Spraka, but he's hoping to come back because he loved it. So who's going to be the antagonist of season 2? I think they're still going through a lot post-burn. Okay, so that might be something. I'm kind of hoping for maybe some more callbacks to previous shows. I know we got some with obviously Discovery because they're part of it, but you know, Voyager obviously, and you know, Deep Space Nine. You know, wouldn't mind a callback to a favorite Doctor. Yeah, I'm curious what you guys think is going to happen next season. I'm curious what your thoughts are and how that's going to go. Obviously, season 2 is their sophomore year, so they're going to be doing different classes and different things are going to happen. Maybe we might get more Tilly. I don't know. I know she's class 3, but you know, we'll see where that goes. But yeah, again, comment, you know, let me know what you guys think that might happen. But it was so much fun. It was so much fun.
By tricorder.
All right, guys, I got 7 votes. Yeah. 86% got 5 field of flowers. Okay. 14% got 4 glue on the shoe. And then 0% for 3 wrong memories. And then 0% for 1 to 2 failed destruction. I'm been torn. I don't think this episode is perfect, but I think it's pretty darn good. I'm in teetering between 4 and 4.5, and I think I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 4. That is officially my rating. They are gonna be getting 4 glue on the shoe. Like I said, few little nitpicks. No Kyle, no Oakham, not enough Laura. Didn't even see Kelrick. And we didn't even get the Romulan chick after that last, like, the Sam episode. Kind of wanted more of her, too. But I get it. 10 episodes, there's only so much they could do. Wish these seasons were longer. I know Discovery got more. And so having these 10 episodes, that's the biggest complaint, guys. It's just not enough. Kind of hard for character building when things are so short. I think what Starfleet Academy did well was that there was a decent amount of character building because the episodes were longer. The majority of them were a good hour or so. Not like 45 minutes that, you know, to 50 or whatever that we've seen with like Strange New Worlds. So I think that helped a lot. So maybe if they do keep these episodes longer, that for sure will help with the character building. But anyways, go ahead to my redhead alert. All right, next week I sit down with John from Screen Rant. He is returning so we could talk about Lower Decks. Waidush. Again, I'm horrible at Klingon. But it means 3 ships, so I'm calling it 3 little ships. But join us next Friday. We will be talking about this episode, and I can't wait. It's been a while since I've seen it. And yeah, I'm looking forward to sitting with John again. And don't forget, guys, I am still donating all proceeds from my TeePublic store to Trek Talks this year. And of course, as you know, Trek Talks is a telethon that raises money for the Hollywood Food Coalition. There are so many amazing Trek stars that are going to be there. And the one to kick it off is going to be Gates McFadden along with Tawny Newsome. No moderator, just those 2 besties, Absolutely love those two together. I've seen them at cons. It's hilarious. You do not want to miss this, but they have a wonderful lineup, including Paul Giamatti. Okay. So that is happening on March 28th, but anything that is sold from my TeePublic store will be donated to Trek Talks. So head over to my TeePublic store, and also don't forget to subscribe to their channel, and also check out trektalks.net for more information. And don't forget about my giveaway, guys. If I get to 1,000 followers on Instagram and 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, I will be doing a giveaway to a lucky listener of my Gates McFadden autograph of a photo I took in STLV of 2023. And so far, I'm near 600 followers on Instagram, and I'm at 450 on YouTube, so getting there. But yes, please spread the word, let everyone know, and we can go ahead and give away that autograph. And don't forget about a penny for your thoughts. You can record over on my website at crusherconvo.com or email me your thoughts at crusherconvo@gmail.com. Any episode that I'm going to be coming out with, you can go ahead and submit your penny and tell me what you thought of the episode, and I will air it live on the air. And can't forget my Patreon shout-outs. Go to Leslie, Dave, and Grayson, who are my Starfleet commanders, and Engineer Mark, Chuck, and new Johannes Borg, Admiral of Starfleet Medical. Thank you so much for your support. If you want to support the podcast, please head over to patreon.com/crusherconvo, and you can join for as low as $3 a month. All right, guys, got a couple more comments here real fast. My cousin is also suffering from allergies. Again, family, we are one. And I have Jamie here, says, yep. I'm not sure what she's saying yep to, but I agree. Okay, please comment below if tell me what your thoughts are. Hit me up on the socials. Again, I'm going to be interviewing Doug this Sunday. I'm going to be sitting down with John to talk about Lower Decks. I'm going to be interviewing Kenny Swink here soon for PanCam, which is coming up at the end of April. So I am very, very excited about all that, and my cousin showing me some love. Thank you so much. All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you for everyone in the chat for joining. And as always, if I can find my credits, there it is. As always, guys, live long and prosper.
Don't forget, you can listen to all the audio versions of Crusher Convo on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. You can support the podcast by buying merch on TeePublic, buy me a coffee by scanning that QR code, or becoming a Patreon member for as low as $3 a month. But the best way to support Crusher Convo is to like and subscribe here on YouTube. You can also find me on Blue Sky, Instagram, Threads, or TikTok, so please follow me there. And of course, all this information can be found on crusherconvo.com.
Crusher out.